good to see you guys. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about race day scoring and recent updates we've done in the product, and kind of what's to come. And I wanted to have a little bit of a conversation with you guys. There's a lot of stuff I know that you guys want, and a few things that I'm happy to give to you right away, and some things that I can promise are coming soon. I'm going to jump back and forth between our presentations and the app so I can show you guys kind of some examples of what's happening here. I'll go through this quick and then we'll have a little discussion about some other things that you are interested in seeing. So some things we've recently added to the dashboard. The dashboard and race day scoring, it's kind of our idea about it is it's going to be your core area of sitting on race day and seeing all the data flowing in real time, giving you a way to track chip reads coming in and participants passing by. We've added some more fields there. We've added participant counts by event. We've added scored read counts by event. We've added ignored raw read counts by reason. I'll show you that. And we've added a few abilities here to globally clear and recalculate times from the dashboard. You used to have to go to the actual timing locations to do all that functionality. And then we've also added the ability to record start times right from the dashboard, which is nice. So I'm going to kind of walk through these. Yeah. The first thing was participant counts by event. So now you'll see right in this race info, the race participants. And if this were a race that had multiple events, actually let me load up one that's a good or better example. So if I had a race that had a bunch of different events in it, there'd be a show more. And I could see in here how many I had in the 75-mile Fondo, the 50, and the 30. It's a nice, easy way to view that data. We now show, I'll move over onto the raw reads area here. So you've always shown the raw read count, full raw read count. Within this, if you were to click into it, it would give you some information about troubleshooting raw reads, right? Why this specific read, 501, wasn't included as a scored read. It's because the bigger chip was unknown. And you've always had this ignored reason filter, so you can see, show me all the duplicate reads, show me all the unknown reads, show me everything. So what we've done is just wrap that up and said, okay, I know there are 38 unknown or ignored reads here. If you click it, it'll give you a list of those reads broken out by type. So now we know there's one undefined occurrence, and if you click that, it will actually bring you to this report filtered, which is really handy for troubleshooting. Yeah?
When you say unknown read, or is it unknown in the...
No participant for that bit.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So say I figure out who that participant is, because we'll have this happen, a volunteer forgets to hit save on a bib number, and that bib reads, but there's no data. So they'll come up back to the van, to the van after, and I have the name.
Yep. So
if I input that name in, will it automatically toss them into results, or do I have to replay?
Right now, you have to recalculate. It sucks.
You just have, that's all
right
you
now,
have
you
to
have to recalculate. Yeah, right now you do, but we're going to fix that. We actually are doing a little project on unknown participants, making it easier to set those up automatically. So you can say, always set them up as unknown participant 38. Right now, you have to manually go and say, participants, this one I haven't set up yet, but in the participants screen, you would go to actions, where is this? Fix unknown reads, and it's not showing. Probably because I set it up afterwards, but it would show in there, and you can resolve it to a participant or add a new participant.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can you fix it from that report though?
Not yet. So that's the one thing we are going to add. So we're going to say in the if it has a bib unknown, you could have a resolve button right there, and then you could type in a new person, or you could map it to an existing person. So yeah, that's definitely something we're doing.
What is undefined occurrence?
Undefined occurrence, that's a good question. So it's like if you had a basic 5K where you said the first time they hit the finish, that's my finish time. Anything after that, so second occurrence in the finish, third occurrence in the finish, fourth occurrence in the finish, those are undefined.
Okay.
It means that they're not being assigned to a segment in the system.
That's just basically someone standing there.
Sure, it could be that, yeah. So basically these are being filtered out because they are either, earlier reads if it's a start, or later reads if it's a finish. Or if it's like you had a split point and someone triggered it in the middle of it and it was like, well actually that would be a gap factor issue, so it would list it there.
Well then what's the filtered by dependency?
So filtered by dependency?
I don't know, it shows on mine.
It might be,
the last one.
Oh, sorry. So filtered by dependency is a part of that, what I was actually just showing you. This is a new feature in segments. So if you are, this is a good example. If you have a race with a bunch of different segments, so you have like, this race has these locations called like Piketown, Moonshine, Fairview, and whatever. So they time all these individual segments. There's a new setting to filter previous segments when this segment is complete. What that does is it uses cumulative distances to determine the order that segments should be completed in. So like I know that participants do a loop, right? I know they finish segment 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. What this setting does is it will make it so that if someone has a finish time in segment 4, they should never accidentally get a segment 2 reread or something like that. So that's what that does. And if you get the filtered by dependency, that means that it's like they got picked up over on the segment 2 system when they already finished segment 4. So it's kind of like with RaceDroid where, you know, if someone has gone around the loop, but like it's a lollipop, like they went out, around, and back, we don't want them picking up over here until they finish over there. It's basically that. Good questions. Was there anything before I moved on? Cool. In each of the boxes over here, so these are the locations and all the scored reads that we have calculated for each of those locations. So I got 69 times collected at the start of Piketown. What we now do is we'll give you a breakdown here. How many reads per event did I collect? So now I see I got 38 75 miles, 18 50 miles, and 13 30 miles, right? So you can start to get an idea of how your race progress is going and be able to see some more data there. What we are going to do in the future is show you further breakdown. So not only are we going to say Grand Fondo 75 miles, I got 38, we're going to say Grand Fondo 75 miles, occurrence 1 we have 15, and occurrence 2 we have however many. So we're going to continue to improve on this reporting right here in the dashboard. And then eventually we are going to add more of like a total race progress report where you can see, you know, all in one view, how many I am still waiting on each location based on all of this data. So that's kind of what we're working on in the dashboard. We have a developer intern whose sole job right now is working on really adding a lot of data and views to this dashboard. One final thing we're going to be doing is starting to get a little bit cluttered and messy on the dashboard. So he's working on, he has some ideas on how to make this layout more customizable so you can drag and drop the boxes and save like a template for different types of races and things. So we might be coming out with some cool new features to make this a little bit better looking, let you customize it a little bit more. Next big thing is reporting. We've added a ton of stuff to reporting. Number one, you guys ask for all the time, is the direct to printer. So now we have both an export from each report to a print, and you can also go in and actually print right from the report view. And so this one will be a bit messy because it's kind of large. We are going to be improving this a lot. We did a quick and dirty kind of get it out the door for this. We wanted to have it out for Symposium. We are going to be adding a lot more functionality around letting you preview the print before it goes out to the printer, let you change the portrait landscape, let you change the zoom and things like that. So for now, it's pretty good, and I'll just give you a quick example. It's probably a bad example to give you because it's like a ton of data. But that's the basic layout. Obviously, it scales to fit. So you got all your information in there. This is a multi-segment race, so we show the segment titles up top. And then within each, you have all the data. Obviously, this is like the default report. You can customize it further to show or hide certain things. You may not want pace for some segments, but that's the basic layout, what it would look like, and you can send it directly to the printer, which is awesome. We're going to be doing some more things to allow you to like pick up where you left off. So if printed, 1 through 10, pick up, at 10, so you print 11 through however many the next one, so you can stick it right there without having to waste all the paper and print everything every single time. Over. So that was a big one I wanted to get out for this. Like I said, we're going to be adding a lot of improvements around the formatting there. The really cool thing about the way we've done this is It also applies to the HTML output we already have, the same formatting, and it also applies to, will apply to the PDF export we have. The other cool thing is that this is going to be applying to the PDF report, so it's going to have that same formatting look and feel. What's better about it is that we've made it pretty flexible, so it's actually just like an HTML output, and we could give you the ability to customize that HTML pretty easily. So you could add in your own custom like headers and put your timer logos. You can add in whatever text you want there. We could even give you more CSS formatting if you wanted to, play around with it. If you guys are clever and know HTML or CSS, we could allow you to plug in your own stuff there to really customize it to no end. But we'll kind of play it by ear and see what people are looking for. But the biggest thing for us is we do want to allow a basic amount of customization to let you put in your own logos, apply your own headers and footers and so on.
Matt, I'm sorry, so is there a way, like, once you set up these reports for this race, like we just did one for a triathlon with splits, can I save that as like a template and then use that for other races without like...
So right now, it's you can create a column set template. Like when you build a report, when you go into here and say, I want to add a section, you can select what columns I want to include. So this is like, I have default column set or a test column set I made.
How do you create that template?
So if you click create template, it would let you pick what columns you want to include in that template. So we have a ton of, obviously for this race we have a lot because we've got a lot of segments. And we're going to be updating this so that it would be more generic so that you could export between races. So
that's what it's like, I have a report already set up the way that I want it. Is there a way to take that instead of doing it the way you're doing it?
Yeah. So you can take a report, actions, edit, and I think you can do it right here. Oh no, you would just basically say,
can I see
add a new one, add a new section to that using the new template that I had set there. And click add overall section instead of using the old one.
No, I'm sorry. So what I'm saying is I've already created the report the way that I wanted the whole template, like that template to be. Like when we did it, like I did the edit column.
Oh, you're saying like save
way.
This column set as a template?
Yes.
Yeah, there's not a way to do that right now.
Okay.
It's definitely something we could add. But regardless, this column set templates, we don't have
so
a
do
way
it that way where you would just create a template.
Yeah, and then you can use it for the races. Okay. And that's across races on your machine.
Okay.
So right now, we don't have a way to share that, but it's super simple for us to make it so you can export that and like put it on another computer.
If you export the settings only, or the setup only for a race,
not
does it
included.
do this
No.
reports?
No, it's a separate thing. So it's not included there. But we are going to add a way to import and export these so you can share them between your computers. We added support for customizing time formatting. So if you go to the dashboard, there's a new section here for time formatting. So what this does is allows you to say, for this race, I want my timing precision to be any of these. So I have all these different types of formatting for my time. Some people like to show hours, minutes, seconds. Some people like to show no leading zeros, things like that. You can play around with this and get it the way you want it. We do include rounding rules here now, so you can have it be no rounding, up to a tenth of a second, up to a full second. Some organizations require that they are rounded in certain ways. So like TFIRS requires tenth of a second, USATF requires full second, and so on. The leading zeros allows you to hide or show and pad the zeros out for like hours, minutes. If you wanted to show a 2-hour marathon as 02, you would do leading zeros shown. So this is on a race basis. You also have the ability to make this a default for all your races. So there's a little link right here, is green text. Where that is actually bringing you is to this global settings view up here. And you can set your time formatting for all races on this computer right here. We implemented kiosk support to and from the race director for results display and data entry. This is a little bit old, but I wanted to include it because we are constantly adding ways of integrating RaceDay scoring with other outside sources. So Roger's actually made it so you can use the race director's data entry function on the same network as RaceDay scoring. so that race director's got really, really good data crunching. Their system's really great for doing on-site data entry. So we can now make that point to RaceDay Scoring's database, on the same network. It's really, really slick. And also, you can use Race Director's kiosks on the same network as RaceDay Scoring. And that way, you can do things like printing out labels. If you like the way this formatting looks better, you can go ahead and use it. So it's just a kind of example of what we're doing with integration with the RaceDay hub. Yeah.
So for our results site, we have our own custom results site. We don't use, RunSignup kiosks. So, and we use Race Director, and we download. We have a format that we have. These 17 fields get downloaded in Excel, and then we upload it
for your results from it.
For our results, yeah, for our results site. You can download, I assume, from RaceDay Scoring into Excel. Are they the same exact fields that are in Race Director?
No, but you can customize it, so you can make it that way.
All right.
And we also have the autosave capability on CSV. So you could say every 15 seconds write to that file from this report.
Okay, all right.
So that would definitely be supported. And you could make a report that would line up the same way.
Same way, like the fields that are in there are also here. Maybe they're not labeled exactly the same, but that's same information.
You definitely can make that happen. So if you go to export CSV, you basically make a report and then export it to CSV, and then you set up an auto save to that CSV. It'll just always update it as you're scoring the race.
Okay.
That's what I recommend. Then you can just pull it from your service or whatever you do. Moving on to scoring. This is a big one. We've completely refactored the way we do top finisher categories. So this means like your overall top finishers, masters, and everything like that. What we've done is a while ago we moved it out of reports. It used to be that you had to define this for each report in the report editor, and it was quite clunky. So you used to have to define it up here. Now what we've done is moved it out to the age group section. So you can set top finisher settings right in your age groups area. And we've also added a really big function here to allow participant filters on top finisher categories, so that you can say, I want my top 3 overall, I want my first masters, and then I want my top 3 locals. And I can say that I want to add a filter for anybody who, you can do it by state or participant information. You can also use a custom question response from RunSignup. So for instance, you could say, during registration, ask if they are a local, yes or no. Or you can do things like Clydesdale Athena. And then you can create a top finisher band for anybody who answered yes to that custom question. And you can say, I want to allow that to double dip with other top finisher categories or not. You can allow it to be pulled out of their age groups and so on. So it's a really good way to support things like Clydesdale Athena and like a locals only type race where you want to highlight those who are the top finishers from their local hometown or whatever. So that was a big one. It took a lot of time to get that one done because we had to do a lot of changes that introduced things we had to fix. Been a lot of improvements to relay team scoring. So if you guys haven't tried that out, I recommend giving it a go. We are doing a ton of stuff right now in preparation for getting aggregate scoring, which is essentially what we're calling like corporate team scoring or cross-country style scoring, where you are aggregating or adding up all the placements or times for many people who are part of a team. So we've done this very tightly with RunSignup, so all the team information is pulled from there, and it's working very, very nice. It's very slick how all the data comes down. You can set up these group classifications pretty easily if it was all done on RunSignup, and if it wasn't, you can set it up in RaceDay Scoring and it goes there. So some really cool stuff coming there for aggregate. Right now it's just the setup. You'll see the screens to allow you to kind of start configuring this stuff. The scoring side is not quite there yet, so you'll see that shortly. I'll show you where you can find that info. So if you go into the scored events now, you'll see a group options button here. And I'm going to say for this event, I'm going to make it a relay event or an aggregate type event. If I were doing an aggregate, we'd start to see some options around how do I want to aggregate on gender place, on overall place, by age grade, by number of finishers, how do I want to tie break, all these different options for tie breaking. How do I want to display the time, total time or average time, and then how deep should I go? So do I want to do it by scored event or group type? I do scored event. For each scored event, have a minimum number to score 5, max number 7, your basic like cross-country type stuff. So all this is coming soon. It works, but it doesn't really do anything for scoring right now. So that's all coming very, very, very soon. And then I talked about this earlier, added support to ignore times from previous segments once the following segment has a recorded time. Streams. We've got support now for a default chip system, which is basically when you are going into setting up streams, there's a new settings here. You can click it and say, I'm on my lapse timer. I always listen on port 3097 from my timing and scoring. And that way you don't have to fill it in for each and every single one. And also, when you add streams now, this big long list of stream types is filtered to just the ones that apply to me. We've added a bunch of support for a variety of different new systems. We've improved the chip connection status for direct systems. So now we show you with an indicator if you've lost connections to devices over TCP/IP. So this is really important for iPico Trident timers where you don't have a middleware, you're connecting directly to the hardware. If you drop connection, it's a real big deal. So now we have an indicator status in the streams list when they're assigned, showing you, these are all files, so they don't show it, but it'll show you a green light if it's connected and active, red light if it's gone down, and be flashing some of those annoying notifications if you've lost connection, regain connection. So that's going to be really handy for especially those timers who are using iPico Trident. So moving on for participants. We've added support for event mapping when importing participants with a spreadsheet when those events names don't match. So we just improved this. So if I have a spreadsheet where I have 5K, 5 space K, 5 capital K, K, I can map those all to my 5K when I import. Pretty simple stuff, but then added clock and chip times and placements to listings in participant view. What that means is on the participants now, you're going to see a whole lot more information here. You'll actually see the times for each segment as well as the scored reads down here, and should show the placements for each as well. But I'm not sure why in this one it's not. Basically, it's going to give you a lot more result information on that participant record. Okay, so got through that. I wanted to just, I guess, bring it up for questions now. Let me just address first, there's a few things I want to talk about that are on the way that we still need in RaceDay scoring that we're working pretty hard on. The first one is right now you can do just wave offsets by event. So you can only have separate starts for each event, and that's pain. It kind of stinks for a lot of races. What we're doing is we're going to be basically taking the RunSignup Corral system and using that as a way to set start times for different waves that can apply to different events and age groups and so on. So you could apply and say, I know that people in the red corral or whatever, corral 1, corral 2, corral 3 are starting at this time of day, and these 3 events are a part of corral 1. So everybody in those corrals start at a separate time. So we're going to be doing that. It's just a little bit of a project, and we have to spend some time on it. The other one is cross-country, so I want to talk a little bit about that. Cross-country timing is really complicated, and it's been going on for years. RaceDirect is really good at it right now. RaceDay scoring is not there yet, and we don't plan on being there for this fall. We plan on 2020 having a really good solution for that. And along with that, we want to be doing a lot more with pull tag scoring. So cross-country, obviously, a lot of times with pull tag is really, really a good solution for smaller races where you don't want to spend a lot of money on chips. And so we are going to be porting over a lot of what RaceDirect has for pull tag scoring into RaceDay scoring. So you could have one machine collecting the places, the other machine collecting the times, and merging them in real time the same kind of way. It's just a pretty big project. So we do not plan on having that for this season for cross country. We recommend sticking with RaceDirect or other solutions you have. And for 2020, that's our goal to have it out for you. Along with that, we are going to be doing finish links integration. So we're going to try and do a direct integration with finish links. We have we've been in talks with them, trying to figure out if we'd be able to hook into their systems via serial port pretty easily and get the data. Seems like we are able to. We just have to do the development on it. Other ones that are similar, Summit timers, those things we want to support as well. So those are some of the big things that I wanted to talk about that we are still on the way. The other thing is lap races are not here yet, and they're going to be here for a little bit. I'm not quite sure on the time frame. And what I mean by lap races is like your 24-hour run where I don't care or I don't know how long you're going to run. I don't know how far you're going to run. I just know how long you're going to run. So I know you're going to run for 24 hours, but I don't know how many laps you're going to do. So we don't have that yet, and we don't have it right now on the timeline. So it's going to be a little bit before we do have that one. So make it done before cross country because I think we can do it easier than cross country. I have one guy who is dedicated to cross country scoring right now, so he's going to be pretty busy for the next year. We might be able to get another one to take on the lap project before that's completed.
When it comes to PC timer or whatever you're going to call it in RaceDay Dashboard, are you going to be able to minimize that? Be able to put in an Excel file or whatever? Currently in Race Director, once the clock's on, you can't minimize it. If you want to go do something else.
That shouldn't be an issue in our system. Yeah, it won't be a problem. We're going to basically do a similar type of thing, but we're not going to be as restrictive with that. I think it'll be, I'm not sure on this, but I think it'll be kind of like what we do with the kiosks between, you can like talk between, so one separate computer is doing the PC timer and one is doing the tabulating for like the places, but not quite there yet. So.
As you say, it won't be super big.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, just when you started to talk a little bit about age banding.
Yeah.
And is there any plans to do something for youth overall? Right now, we basically create it as a custom and have to basically manually.
So youth overall, you mean regardless of gender?
As part of gender as well, so overall male, overall female youth as of a certain age.
Yeah, so you can do that actually. What's nice about that new feature we just added on the top finisher categories.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to, you can now use this participant filters and say, I want to add a filter that says anybody who is less than, age 10 or whatever, you could do it like this, and then it'll just say, everybody who's less than 10, put in this top finisher band and sort it based on fastest time.
So that can be by gender as well.
This will automatically be by gender, actually, male and females broken out.
Cool.
We're going to be adding a way to combine that, so if anybody asks, that is available too, but right now it's always broken by gender. Yeah.
And then we can, my eyes aren't that great, so I can't.
Yeah, I understand.
Can I put like what I want to call that?
Yeah, you can call it whatever you like. Yep.
You said that combining genders is available now?
No, so combining is not, but we're going to get that done in like a week or two.
Okay, so by the fall.
Oh yeah. This is one that as we were doing it, we realized that because for the overalls, it always makes sense to separate, but for custom ones, it doesn't always make sense to separate. So we need to have an option to combine male and female.
Will that be an option for overall too? We have kept it very rarely.
I don't want to because I hate that. We might. He's talking about regardless of gender, top three overall, and I think it's silly because it's almost always males.
It's going to come up more and more. We have more races that we do now where we don't even collect gender.
Yeah, it's true.
So, you can't separate. I mean, it's not a lot, I agree, but it seems more every year.
Yeah, I hear you. We'll probably make this a thing that would apply to all bands, not just custom ones, is what I would assume.
I have a question. You can actually go back to that screen.
Oops, yeah.
Sorry. And it's on the priorities. So I'm seeing in mine, I have 4 created on the one race that I'm working on. And it's making me choose a different priority for each one.
Yes, it has to be.
But sometimes I don't want them to be. They can win. So obviously overall, most of the time overall is first, right? But if I have a Clydesdale and I have a lifeguard, right? I have instances where they can win both of those. So usually what I do is make them the same priority. What you're asking for is something we're going to be doing shortly. Okay. Because what you're describing is double dipping. Yes. But what you're also describing is specific ones. Yeah. So what we're adding is a way to say, I want to allow double dipping, but only for these other events.
so that I could say for my Clydesdales, I want them to also double dip with a fireman category, or whatever it is.
Right.
But only those. So
And then remove them all from the age groups.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So we're going to be able to say for this top finisher category, you can double dip with these other ones. And that's it. That's coming actually pretty soon, along with this combining genders on the.
So you'll still make them different priorities, you're saying you're gonna edit
Yeah, still
something
make them
else?
like, yeah, we can't change that, but if you just make them like 1, 2, 3, 4, and to say between 2 and 4, they point to each other based on the double dipping thing, that would do it. So any other questions for the group on stuff with race day scoring updates? Yeah.
What's your timeline on the waste for triathlon?
So-
And what's your workaround now if you want to use race day scoring?
Yeah, so the big thing is you can do it on event. So if you do it, like you can create separate events for each wave if you wanted to, but for triathlon, it doesn't always work. What Stacy has done is actually imported chip times that are their wave times to a start location. And that works pretty well. You would just want to adjust your reports to only show chip time, essentially. Even though it's not really chip time, you're basically importing that data as if they were chip times. So that's the workaround, and then we're hoping to get this out in a couple of months and hoping earlier.
So we've done that. I figured that out with the bullshit time thing. This event can get kind of complicated with waves. So it's
Yeah,
really
totally understand.
It's really cumbersome to try and
Yeah,
fit up numbers like that.
I know. I want that very much as well. So it's something that, we were working on, and I think it's going to be like another month or two because we want to do it right. So I understand. We're getting there. Is there anything else before we move on to the next session? Yeah, Stacey.
Sorry.
You're okay.
I know we've talked about this a little bit in length, and I think it's getting closer as you guys are updating the aggregate teams.
Yeah.
Not the cross country, but the aggregate teams.
Yeah.
Because we do, the whole USATF in New Jersey, they do double dipping on the teams. When I was talking earlier with some of the developers, they were talking about how what they're saying is that race day scoring can allow one person to be on 2 teams.
Yeah.
But the problem is one sign up does not.
Yeah.
So how does that reconcile when you sync and when you...
So, the way that it would work is how it works in Race Director. You would basically have, secondary teams for people, and you kind of have to, it's hard to explain it. Basically, you, flip a setting, and then it will score both. And then you have to turn it off to score just the single one.
But will it still be, I guess, and I know you haven't finished it yet, so it's kind of an abstract question, but my concern is that will it still be able to sync the data up to RunSignup? Not necessarily the participant, but the results.
I understand.
Make sure that it's not messing everything up.
I get it. And so the thing is, we don't know, because we don't know if, in order to support that fully, through RunSignup results, there would have to be a change on RunSignup.
Is
to
that
support
something
that.
they could do? Or?
That's I'm not sure about. So we have to see and see how long that would take.
Because for us, what would be fantastic, I would love to be able to give it to the team captains and be like, here, you guys gotta go on RunSignup and create your teams the way that they need to be. So all I have to do is sync, because at the moment, they fill out pages and they hand them to me 45 minutes before the start of the race, and I have to enter all those teams.
Right.
We have a way in our old software, but if I have to go through, race day scoring and add, it's just gonna be a pain in the ass. So I don't want to do it that way.
Yeah, that one is probably going to be tricky, but we'll do what we can. But we support it in Race Director. It's just kind of clunky. I'm hoping to support it in a better way with race day scoring, but like I said, that's going to take some probably work at RunSignup that I can't promise the timeline on. So, yeah. If there's anything else you guys have, I'll be around. Hopefully, grab me, talk to me, and it's good to talk to y'all.